Hey Mark, how's it going?
Morning, how are you?
Good.
It's Tuesday today. Yeah,
It's
just
Tuesday.
Wednesday. God, long weekend ahead of us. Anyway, so we're gonna do a video conversation basically on what buyers should kind of be heads up on when buying, right?
Yeah.
Buyer be, hang on one second, I want to get my title of it.
Or
Or
buyer mistakes or red flags of buying or
yeah, there's lots, right? There's lots. Of course I can't find it now. Yeah, there's lots of them, and that came from a suggestion from a viewer, which I think, you know what, hey, that was good. We did one on the selling, and I think we should do one on the buying. There's, the market is so many changes in the market. We're seeing inventory ballooning up. We're seeing sales decreasing. There's lots of things, lots of moving pieces, and I really think an agent that's engaged in the business full time is better to represent someone that is not full time in the business. And how many times have we heard from, again, I've had things from viewers reach out, comments, oh, we went with this agent because it was recommended by a friend. Oh, but they're part-time. I'm not big on part-time agents because you get part-time results and they're not engaged in the market and fully invested in this business.
well, I
Thank
think
you.
there's a couple big things. One is I did try to do this part-time for the first couple of years and it was very difficult. You're not in it. Like I had to quit my job and just
Yep.
jump in because um you just don't know, like when you're working and driving to work and you're gone 10 hours a day and you can't just be engaged like we are in exactly what's going on and how fast things change all the time.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the other big thing right now is the new TRESA rules and the self-representation.
Yeah, there's a few things. I don't really think they're as big as, I think, we know we've talked about this before with the double ending and all that. And then, you know, um, people are still doing it. And yeah, I think it
Lots of
can.
people are, well, yeah, that was a discussion I had with someone yesterday too, is the agent did discuss double ending and he would reduce his commission and stuff. But the problem is the only way you can really do that now is if the other person is self-represented,
And yeah, I mean,
which means that I, as the other agent, can't even give you comparables and I can't give you any information. You're totally on your own. So
yeah,
like when you're buying, you need representation and you need someone that's going to protect you because sorry, at the end of the day, um, this is people's most important and biggest investment normally.
it is. And how many times have we said it? Go interview three people on the selling side. Go interview three people on the buying side. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, I'm looking to buy a property in Barrie. You know what kind of services do you offer? Get to understand, build that relationship, and do some research. I think it's key. And I think how many times have we seen people get hurt, whether they're buying or selling because they've used a friend of a friend.
Yeah. Well, look, yeah, but look at the one that down at the Friday Harbor where the guy was only showing his own listings.
Right. So there goes the prospective client that felt, wow, why isn't he showing me this one? I like it, but why isn't he showing it? Because you know, which is
because
wrong.
he doesn't make double the commission.
Right. Right.
Like it's not all about the money. And I think a lot of times too, when people are buying, they use their emotions more. They get
Mhm.
caught up with, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. And sometimes they overpay. Now, I always tell my buyers, if you're in this for the long haul, if this is your family home that you envision for the next 20 years, if you pay 20,000 more than I
Okay.
think you should, it's okay though. Like if you
Totally.
love it and we've seen 50 houses and this is it and you got to do it and you can't and you're negotiating and negotiating, you can't get down. You've done it yourself. Even
100%.
with that townhouse, right?
Mhm.
It's a little bit higher than what you think, but if they're in it for the long haul and they love it and they want it, you know,
Right. And that's the thing, right? Folks like the area was a win. It was the area that was very attracted to them, being a new build, but there was what I learned on that deal, because we mainly do resale properties. This was a brand new build. Yes, it was, the seller has closed.
Resell, yeah.
It becomes resale, but there's so much I've learned from doing that transaction, in a sense, with, the PDI, and it's a pre-delivery inspection. What things are in the home that need to be done by the builder at a certain date, your 30-day, your yearly. So those are things that, had to get into the agreement of purchase and sale, navigating that, working with the builder to say, hey, when are these getting done, etc. Just because there's more moving pieces to that type of property. Holy cow, and so anyway, long story short, it was great learning, and, my seller was happy. We had great, response from the builder doing that deal with the PDI issues. He exceeded our expectations. Turned
Well,
over the
and as a buying agent, because I was a buying agent, remember when I first started, I was with that team, and I just did buying. That's all I did. You have to understand and as a buyer, you have to think about what the long-term goal is. Is this a starter home? Am I only going to be here 2 to 5 years? Is this a 20-year home? It makes a big flipping difference when you're buying what you're looking for. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to be more careful, and you have to really look at comparables and really make sure you're not, getting in over your head or overpaying. If this is a starter home and I'm going to have a kid, like I had one young buyer a couple of years ago, and we're looking at a 1-bedroom condo. And I said, hey, you guys, listen, I don't know what the market's going to do. They're like 27, 28. Maybe you should get a 2-bedroom. What if you had a kid?
right.
If you have a kid, you now got to sell and lose money. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to get out.
Yep.
So they did listen to my advice and get a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because if the market's in a slow spot, you got to be able to hold.
Well, we're in a slow spot now, so yeah, people got a hold today. And let's go back to what you talked about with the comparables. So that touched the nerve with me, where if someone's buying, and with an abundance of agents out there today, we've seen a real growth in our industry come the COVID times, where we got so many people entered the business and made all kinds of money, but it was easy money for them. They didn't really, nothing was, the market didn't matter. Any fluctuations or the market dynamics didn't matter. It was just going full steam ahead. So, when I seen listings coming in on some properties that I sold, and I went, didn't they look at the comps? You know how many times I say that all the time, getting a real lowball, stupid offer and going, why didn't the agent pull up that sold 2 weeks ago? So why do you think that happens? Why do you think it's important to show a buyer comparables?
Well, for one thing, just like I was saying, you don't want to overpay. You don't want to, you don't want them already behind the 8 ball before they even start. And second of all, for financing, the appraisal has to come through, Mark.
100%. Yep.
And if they're only, especially if they're first time or only putting 5% down, which they can, if that appraisal's short, they got to make up the difference in money, and they probably don't have it. So like, those are the 2 biggies. The value has to be there.
Valuation has to come in, right? And that's the thing, especially in this market, we're seeing all kinds of different pricing strategies. We're seeing some price for the market. We're seeing an abundance of inventory, not priced for the market. And that inventory is sitting, as we've covered many times. So comparables are very important. I also think that today's buyers should get them self-educated too, not just solely rely on the real estate professional. I think it's nice when we get clients that are, holy cow, that client's really in tune with things. They know what's going on. That's important. They need to watch the market. They need to look at what's being listed, look what's being sold today, have an understanding of it.
Well, I think it helps, because even if we're telling them something and we can give all the, okay, yesterday I was going through comparables with somebody sold, Mark, and he was giving me high ones and I was giving him low ones. And I said to him, listen, I've told many clients in the past, for every high one you can find, I can find a low one.
Well, that's it. And looking at those solds and comparing them to property, apples to apples, sometimes they're not. Upgrades, bigger space, better finishes, finished basement, great location. You know, we've seen, how many times have we seen comparables come in and listings from an agent going, well, we're offered 450 because a comparable on the other side of town sold for 450. To me, that's a red flag that that's an inexperienced agent right there. Right?
Well, a lot of out of town agents don't know the different areas. Like in Barrie, you can go to Innisfil and then my area, and almost the same house is like $200,000 difference.
Right, right, right. And that's important. And I don't know if you want to pull up on the screen, but I also think buyers should look, and we've done videos on, you know, the crime map of Barrie. Not too many people ask about that to us. We know the areas. We haven't done a video in the past 6 months on that, but we kind of know the basic areas to stay away from based on data from Barrie Police Services. How many people do you think today are looking at crime maps and fully understanding what is going on in the neighborhood?
Oh,
Like,
well, none from Toronto.
none from Toronto. They don't even know how to get there. So,
They think down by the waterfront's a really good investment,
right.
or by the college.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's a great
I
investment.
have all kinds of people, you know, especially when I was a buyer agent, and you're getting all these buyer leads, and they're all, oh, we want to be near the college because, you know, the college and the hospital, that's the best place, blah blah blah, you know, everything's there.
Yeah.
That's well, it's one of the worst. It's not great, and the values are lower there.
Valuations are lower. Did you want to pull up, do a screen share? We don't want to go through the crime map, but maybe just, I think this is important for buyers that should use this tool. And so this video is about them and how to help them. So why don't we just pull it up, and then, you know what, maybe you can navigate something if you want.
Hold
I
on.
think it's important because buyers, you should be really looking at this and watch what Diane's typing in here. It's important.
Barrie
Look at,
Police Services, isn't it?
yep.
Oh, it was right there.
We had it. There we go.
I think it's right down. Interactive crime mapping tool.
There we go. Hit that, folks. This is a great tool. And maybe just go through one area if you want, Dan. Talk about it if you want. Or
I have to
yeah,
agree to a disclaimer here. So the way this works is you can pick the different crimes you want. When you look at it originally, where's my little Dewey here? Where's the map?
crime map right above.
Okay. So you have all these different crimes here,
Yep.
and it shows like assaults 191, bail violations 155, breach of probation. So all these little things, you can pick what
Yep.
ward you want.
And what's a ward? So explain ward
The
one.
ward is like there's 10 wards in Barrie, and the wards are like the voting board wards. So it's each little geographical area.
Yeah.
And Mark, they changed this thing, eh?
A little bit. Yeah. I think it's a little bit easier. I think it's great by that this way. So we zoned in on ward one, and then you can, those red dots are so we can, that's probably for the last 60 days. So in that ward one area, so if someone's looking for home in Codrington, Wellington area, the issues will come up. This
So
is a
this
great.
is Ward 2, which is downtown area.
Yep. So what are some of the issues in downtown in the last 60 days?
Well, they're not coming up.
Only
It's
coming up
saying
by,
assault 60, bail violations 59, break and enter 30,
yep.
flight from police officer 2, mischief 46, robbery 3, theft 73.
Yep.
So let me try me.
All right. So you can see, folks, where it gives a really good
So here
breakdown.
we get down to like mischief 7.
Yep.
break and enter 7.
Yep.
See what I mean?
Yep.
It goes down huge. So then, this is like the Innisdale area.
Yep.
Assaults 10, break and enters 2. See what I mean? Like it gets, you can see the numbers are way down from what it was over in the
Different areas.
in the downtown core. See,
Right.
Ward 2, look at the numbers: 60,
Well,
59, 57, mischief
yep.
46,
Yep.
offensive weapons 17.
Yep.
So then when you go to mine, the offensive weapons 1.
Yep.
And then when we go to Innisfil,
Is that in a short? That's Painswick, I think, is it?
well, there's South Shore right there in Tollendale, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe, there you go. Yep.
So the offensive weapons here is 2.
Yeah. And Tondale's, it's a big area in that area too.
Yeah.
But does it
So
does, what
yeah,
else?
this helps a lot. Well, and when you're buying and you're raising kids, and this is another thing. This is what I mean about
Know your neighborhood.
discussing what your goal is. If
Yeah.
I want an investment property, where am I going to go?
I never go to the north end because you know why? Because of the amount of rentals.
But
I always focus
I have a
on,
client with a student rental.
well, then you can go up there, but if it
That's
depends
what
on
I mean. It
condition.
depends on what you're looking for and what your goals are.
Yeah.
And like if you're doing want to do a student rental,
Yeah.
forget the south end.
It's not going to work. Yeah. Right. Right. No, that's not going
Most
to
of
happen.
these kids don't have a car. You
Right.
want walking distance, right?
Right. It depends on each individuals. What other things can we talk about for a buyer to educate them? We talked about a crime map. We talked how important it is to know the market.
Home
Know that
inspections
home inspections are important in today's market.
and
It's
walkthroughs, which
yeah, let's touch that. Let's that's a real important inspection. Conditions are normal in today's world because the market is, to me, is flooded with inventory. So, condition it up a little bit, make sure you're well looked after, right? From
yeah,
inspection, right? And don't get your buddy's a great worker and understands things. No, you need to get a licensed home inspector with a good reputation that just
yes.
knows the insides and outsides of a house.
And a couple years ago, I mean, when everything was going crazy, everybody was buying firm and they were waiving their home inspections.
Yeah.
And now I hear a lot of horror stories. Well, we didn't get an inspection and we didn't know. It just happened to the one in Angus I sold. The furnace, well, yeah, that because we were in bidding wars
Yeah.
and the house was relatively new, so they didn't bother.
Sure.
And honestly, everything was good except the furnace exhaust wasn't attached
Yeah.
to the outside pipe. Like it wasn't even attached. So all the condensation and hot air was going up
Yeah.
behind the siding, and it rotted out a big portion of
Yeah.
the wood.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? Even new builds is a couple of weeks ago, we finished off a deal and we did home inspection on that with Jeremy. It was just good. It was good information for the new homeowner to really get educated on the workings of a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because I'm telling you, me and you both bought new builds and they're not fun experiences. I tell you, there's lots and lots of deficiencies and lots of poor workmanship. It is unbelievable. We have a gazillion of them up here. I was upstairs after my workout, I was doing stairs last night. So I went up to my balcony and as soon as I step on it, I knew it was there, but there was the flooring has gone down on the ceramic flooring. So someone's going to twist an ankle. Like, why are we letting people walk on that? Why are you know what I mean? This is brand new, maybe 6 weeks old. So it's really important. Some other things you kind of want to think about?
The walkthrough.
Walkthrough. Yeah, sorry, I got off topic. So that's an important thing is walkthroughs. And as we mentioned in previous videos, we don't see them being done by out-of-town agents.
They don't want to
You
drive up here.
want to drive up here. I really believe if you're using an out-of-town agent, you need to make them earn their paycheck and they need to come up and do a final walkthrough. How many times have we seen deficiencies, things not done? whether it's a tenant issue, whether the washing machine blows up, whether there's holes in the carpet now, whatever. There's things that could easily pop up, and they're leaving the buyers holding the bag. Because once that deal closes, Diane,
You're
good luck
getting,
getting money.
you're getting nothing.
Nothing. Here, you're gonna get this. Okay, we'll send a letter over to the other side. That's it. And nothing gets done. Tell a lawyer not to do it. You can charge it because nothing's getting done. So that's a big thing. The final walkthroughs. Hey, we need, because then look how many deficiencies and questions that come up from, some are good, some aren't good. But
Well,
it
it
gives,
drives me, yeah, I know, and it drives me crazy that because I've done buys where I've had people that are my clients and they've used me for years and they bought in Sudbury and I bought with them. They didn't trust, they met somebody up there, didn't like them, didn't trust them.
Yep.
So I did all the comparables and everything. Anyway, long story short, when they had to do a final walkthrough, I drove 3.5 hours and did it.
and you should.
Like
And you,
the buying agent makes more money in general than the listing agent.
and you're representing your clients in a good way. You're protecting them.
And
You
they're
should.
making lots of money doing this. It shouldn't be something that, they don't want to drive an hour. Like you're making 20, 25,000, 15,000 and you can't drive for 1 hour and do a walkthrough.
I know. I know. It's unbelievable. And that's a topic. That's why I'm really big on working with reputable agents in the community versus out of town agents.
Okay, Mark, I'll tell you what the problem is too, though. And I think it's not with anybody, but with a lot of people. When you meet them and you start looking, the possibility that they're going to make $20,000 off you, they're great. They're your best friend.
Yep.
They're doing everything you want. They're bringing you to all this house. As soon as the deal is done,
Yep.
and it's firm,
Yep.
and I see it with agents all the time.
Yeah.
You know all the problems I had in Clearview?
Mhm.
I'm trying to reach the other agent.
Yeah. You can't get a hold of them.
They don't even answer me. And the deal isn't closed. We have issues, water, septics, all this shit. And she's answering nothing.
Yep.
Because the deal's firm now. She's made her money.
Yep. Yep.
And my
Yep.
client says to me, she goes, Diane, I can't believe that you're going over and above and going crazy here. I'm phoning the township for them. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
getting an AC guy. And she goes, and this woman won't even answer.
Yeah, well, I know. That's it. And this is the representation that to me people sometimes settle for, or they get the recommendation from a friend, right? Oh, so and so recommended them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Find out more about them.
Yeah, but they're always great at the beginning.
They are. They are. I know.
Because that's, I mean, most real estate agents, like, we're personable people. If you're in this business at all, normally you're not, you know what I mean? Like, you're comfortable with people, especially if you have some experience. So you can sit there and talk a good game. Like, you know what I mean? People get fooled into, oh, this person's really looking after me and you know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Yep.
then once the flipping thing is firm,
Yep. See you
MIA.
later. No walkthroughs, can't get a hold. And that's the thing. So you just trigger something. That's the thing. Once the deal is closed, people stop communicating. But a new buyer that is buying for the first time, I find post deal done, there's more work to be done because they have a lot of questions. Hey, Mark, do you know anyone that could do some lights for me? Sure do. Okay. Hey, Mark, do you know an electrician? Yep, I want to do this. Do you know a carpenter? Yep. Can you do a walkthrough with them? I want to do this. Yep. It's extensive, right?
Oh, and Mark, how about
It's a good thing though, because you
yes,
want to help them,
yes.
not
Well,
just
you
shove
forge a
off and
relation,
go
you forge
Google.
a relationship with these people.
100%.
You now have a relationship, right? And that's what all my clients say. Yeah, Diane's got a guy, because they'll ask me something. Yeah, I got a guy. And then something, they'll ask me about something else. Yeah, I got a guy. How many times have you been called and asked when was the house built? Is there a clean out for the what's that called? For the, the sewer drain
Drain?
thing when you have that, what's it called? A backup valve thing, the backup thing.
Yeah,
What's the amperage in the what do you call the fuse box?
you know,
Because when they get home insurance,
right, all these questions come up.
there's a huge list. When were the shingles done? Diane, when was the house built?
Yep.
Like,
Yep. There's a
it's
lot
a,
of after service part of the transaction. And I think that's some good points that buyers need to consider that, right? And work with people that offer those services beyond the paperwork, right?
I
Because,
just did it for another agent with the cleaner,
well,
the
for sure.
Toronto agent, and I'm the buying agent on a lease. It's not
Yeah,
even my listing, and I had to find the cleaner for them.
yeah. Well, there's the thing, because they don't know anyone locally, so they're going to rely on that. So there's lots of positives to work with local agents. I know I'm kind of promoting that, and I'm not trying to promote us, but I'm trying to promote that pick a few, interview a few,
And
work
make
with people who are
sure and
comfortable.
make sure that the person knows the market. Like I bought in Hamilton 2 or 3 times, Mark, and I know Hamilton pretty bloody good now, only because I got educated on it. But what I mean is, if you are going to use somebody that's a relative, I get that all the time too.
Yeah.
Make sure they're at least doing all their homework. They can go on Trebmark, they can find out.
All the information's there. Why don't you show the viewers kind of how we gauge the market a bit with our spreadsheets and numbers, and we keep a track record of things, because then it keeps us in tune with the market. So what Dan's going to pull up is a spreadsheet. So these are, we do updates twice a month with things. So we break it down by category, by price point, by solds, listings. So when we have someone, oh, I can't navigate it. You could navigate it. I don't know. Go any month, July, whatever, and saying, hey, I'm looking for a house between 6 and 7. What's the inventory like? Here we go, 6 to 7. Again, this was from July 15th. So we updated, end of the month, we'll update the numbers, but here we go. Here's all the solds in the month of from July 1st to July 15th. Here's the inventory numbers. So 7 to 8, oh, there's a ton of inventory. It's not much is selling in that category. You got lots of choice. Let me go through the top 5 for you, and then we can hop on a Zoom. We can go through the listings together. So this is important data. This is
Yes.
really important data that we love to share, because it should be shared. We take the time to extrapolate it, put it in spreadsheets so we can communicate it. So we
Well,
know what,
the other thing is on the listing side, how many are not selling?
well, look at the numbers. Like, look, like 21% for, again, our transactions are down double digits throughout that's normal. That's normal what we're seeing. So, and then my question is, again, I really believe the pricing in this marketplace is wrong. Most of it
Look
is
at
wrong.
this, Mark. Today we have 7 new listings only.
Yeah. And it's normal. We're coming to a long weekend. Pretty normal to see as we progress.
And these are all actually Barrie.
Right. One in Innisfil. But that's the thing. So
But look at the price ranges.
yeah, well, it's normal. Bit of high price, low price,
They're
150.
all, well, mostly all high though. 999, 1,000,009, 1,399, 1,794, 998.
Right. So a buyer can, by looking at our numbers, can say, oh, so only 12% of the listings are selling in this price range. Why is that? Well, let me go show you why. Right? It kind
Yeah.
of puts you in a better position of understanding the market to negotiate. And let me tell you, there's a lot of sellers out there, folks, that think we're still in a market of demand right now, and we're
Yeah,
not
we're
at all.
not.
We're not. The buyers have control, and sellers are having a hard time letting that grip go. Anyway,
And you definitely have negotiation power for sure.
you do, you should if there's a serious seller that wants to sell, but there's lots of that dig their heels in, and you have to move on. You
But
can't.
listen, people, you're not getting $100,000 off a 900,000.
No, we're not saying that. Prices are off last year 1 or 2%, bit more in higher ranges, but inventory is climbing. So it'll be interesting to see the July numbers in a few days to see how far they're off last year's. It's going to be interesting to see the fall market. I think could be the big one where the Feds, take a 50 basis point cut. I think the market could get a little bit excited
Yeah,
then seeing it. So if anyone has any questions on the Barrie real estate market in Simcoe County, reach out to Dan and myself. I hope this video serves you well, and subscribe for more notifications. Hit the subscribe button. Got questions? Leave a comment.
perfect.
Okay, see you.
See ya.